For most people, winning the lottery requires one thing: luck. But in 1992, one man walked into a lottery drawing with something far more powerful. He had almost every possible ticket in the game, and when the numbers were announced, he won a jackpot worth more than $27 million. The incredible part: it wasn't illegal, it wasn't a scam, and he had spent years proving it could work. His name was Stefan Mandel, and he may be the only person in history who figured out how to beat the lottery. Mandel wasn't a mathematician working in a prestigious university. He wasn't a billionaire investor. He was an economist living in communist Romania, where life was tightly controlled and opportunities were scarce. Like millions of people, he dreamed of a better future. But unlike most people, he looked at the lottery differently. Most players saw random numbers. Mandel saw a mathematical problem, and every problem, he believed, had a solution. As he studied lottery systems, he noticed something unusual. In certain games, the jackpot could occasionally grow so large that it became bigger than the total cost of buying every possible number combination. That observation changed everything, because if someone could somehow purchase every possible ticket, winning would no longer depend on luck. Winning would become almost guaranteed. The idea sounded ridiculous. Buying every combination was expensive. Printing the tickets was difficult. Transporting them was a logistical nightmare. And even if it worked, one mistake could destroy the entire operation. But Mandel wasn't interested in what seemed impossible. He wanted to know if it was possible, so he created a system. Instead of using his own money, he gathered investors, lots of them. Together, they would pool funds whenever a jackpot reached the right size. Then they would buy enormous numbers of tickets covering as many combinations as possible. It was a simple concept. Executing it was another story entirely. Throughout the 1980s, Mandel and his partners successfully won multiple lotteries around the world. Again and again, they identified games where the mathematics worked in their favor. Authorities were stunned. Lottery organizers became nervous. Yet every time officials investigated, they found the same thing. Mandel wasn't cheating. He was simply exploiting a weakness hidden in plain sight. But then he found an opportunity unlike anything he had ever seen. It was in the United States, specifically Virginia. At the time, the Virginia lottery had something unusual. The number of possible combinations was relatively small compared to the rapidly growing jackpot. As the prize climbed higher and higher, Mandel began calculating. The numbers were becoming irresistible. Eventually, the jackpot crossed a critical threshold. Now the potential reward exceeded the cost of purchasing every combination. The window he had been waiting for had arrived. What happened next was one of the most ambitious gambling operations ever attempted. Mandel assembled a massive investment group. Millions of dollars were raised. Computers generated every possible number combination. Printers worked continuously. Stacks of lottery tickets began piling up. The scale was almost unbelievable. Millions of tickets had to be produced, sorted, delivered, and validated before the drawing. One delay could ruin everything. One technical problem could destroy years of planning, and time was running out. As the drawing approached, warehouses filled with tickets. Teams worked around the clock. Trucks moved endless boxes. The operation looked less like a lottery strategy and more like a military campaign. Yet even with all the preparation, disaster nearly struck. Retailers struggled to process the enormous volume. Some tickets couldn't be printed in time. Others faced logistical complications. Nobody knew whether enough combinations would actually be covered before the deadline. The closer they got to the drawing, the more uncertainty grew. Millions of dollars were on the line. Then the day finally arrived. The numbers were drawn, and suddenly, years of calculations faced their ultimate test. When the results were checked, Mandel's group held the jackpot-winning ticket. They had done it. The prize exceeded $27 million. But the victory was even bigger than that, because alongside the jackpot ticket, the group also held thousands of smaller winning tickets. The operation generated additional prizes worth millions more. What had seemed impossible was now reality. A man who once dreamed of escaping poverty had effectively purchased an entire lottery. News of the win spread everywhere. People were stunned. How could one group legally engineer such an outcome? Investigators immediately took interest. Government agencies examined the operation. Lottery officials searched for violations. The public suspected there had to be a hidden trick, but investigators kept reaching the same conclusion. No laws had been broken. No numbers had been manipulated. No machines had been tampered with. Stefan Mandel had simply understood the mathematics better than everyone else. That realization created a new problem. If one person could do this once, someone else might do it again, and lottery organizations couldn't allow that. In the years that followed, rules changed. Lotteries redesigned their systems. Games increased the number of possible combinations. Restrictions were introduced. The loophole Mandel had exploited slowly disappeared. The door was closing, and the strategy that had made him famous became almost impossible to repeat. Today, lottery jackpots are often larger than ever, but so are the odds against winning them. The weakness Stefan Mandel discovered has largely been sealed away, yet his story remains one of the most extraordinary examples of human ingenuity ever applied to a game of chance. Because in a world where millions relied on luck, he relied on mathematics. And for one remarkable moment in history, a man looked at a lottery, bought almost every ticket, and proved that sometimes the biggest gamble isn't taking a chance, it's finding a way to remove chance entirely.